Welcome back to my channel, MaddenBacklogSeries. Today we will address 3 major bugs and 1 minor bug that continue after they were introduced in Madden 25. They include major bugs, formation order, on-the-fly audibles, pop-up audibles, and the minor bug is audible list order. Now, formation order matters. There's no getting around it whatsoever. Order of formations help with quick location of formation and plays. Order of formations also help with finding formations and plays when audibling. Now, in Madden 24, you didn't have this issue. I could put my plays in the playbook and they were stacked, meaning first in, last out, as you can see in the order here. When we got to Madden 25, this changed because then all of a sudden you had a problem where they remained in the same order no matter how you put them in. And then, of course, with Madden 26, there's still the same bug in this. So this is something that's easy to fix. All they have to do is go in and remove that, more than likely a sort on the play formation ID or whatever sorting feature they have going on that should not exist. So, we've been through Madden 25 and that kind of screwed up my whole year because I don't want to have to search for plays like I'm in the Matrix, because that's exactly where it leaves you. You're sitting around trying to find your plays because they're not in order. So what I would like to see is this to become a high priority and fixed. And before we go through this, please bear with me. I want to help you to understand why it's so important. In an Audible cycle, let's say if you just have single backs, you could have just pistol plays, you could have just shotgun plays that are of a particular personnel. Keep that in mind. This involves the personnel, of course. When you press your LB button, once you get to, let's say, play number 1, you end up going back the other way. So you don't have to understand this too much because you go this way. When you're on play number 9, you basically start going back this way. So it just toggles once you get to the very edge when you only have one style of formations. So it's not that big of a deal. You at the beginning of the list, you LB, you end up at the end. You're at the end of the list, you RB, you're back at the beginning. Now, once you get to 2 formations, such as a single back, you could have a pistol or a shotgun, it really doesn't matter, or you could have a pistol up here around this, as opposed to, it being a single back, it would be a pistol and then a shotgun. When you get to your LB button, it now flows down to the end of your pistol or shotgun. So then it's at the end of that list. You go from the beginning to the end. The opposite is when you're on the RB of the single play up here at the top, and you press the RB, you end up at the beginning of the shotgun or pistol list. And as you go back through that list, you get to the end of the RB, you go back to the beginning of your Singleback. So it toggles back and forth here. So if you're using two formations, which pretty much I do, that's what it means. So when you have your trips, bunch, doubles, and all that here in your Singleback, it makes it easier if you can order those plays and you can order the shotgun plays like what I use, because you know which direction to go and how to quickly you can find them. And of course, if you have all three, then you go from Singleback to pistol now becomes the middle. So you go from Singleback, and if you're at the RB, that is, I should state, if you're on the RB, because see what happens is that takes you to the next stage right here. So not the end. So RB takes you to the beginning of the pistol, whereas in 2, RB took you to the beginning of that second stage. It's still the same, but now you have 3. So it takes you from first stage to the second stage. And the same occurs basically here. When this one, RB, is pressed, it takes you from that stage down to the next stage. So you could have your plays here. Once you get to that button here, it takes you to your pistol formations. This will take you, and if you get here, it'll take you to your shotgun, and vice versa. I don't want to be too long for that. So what I'm going to do is show you Madden 24. I'm not going to go through Madden 25. Going to go through Madden 24, and then we'll go through Madden 26, since Madden 25 is the same as Madden 26. No pun intended. Let's see. Okay. And again, I'm remoted in. Okay. So I just want to show you. Oh, these headphones are delayed, so I gotta remove them off. This is a template I'm going to use. We see bunch and Y trips. Okay. I'm going to create one template after this. Let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in what is a doubles play. Now, and I wouldn't do this, but I'm going to show it to you so that you will see what the problem is. But let me jump right to the game itself real quick, so you'll see what I'm talking about. And I don't need a team to play. I only need the offense to show this. Okay. And this is something that really EA should not allow to be put out in the games. Bunch Y trips. You see that? So it's not like it's not like it's something that is different than what's in the playbook itself. So we'll quit out of this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a play as if, let's say I'm creating a playbook, and I really wish the games, even though this is 24, it's still the same with 26, that you can't get back out to this page. It's just way too many button clicks just to get back out to your main menu. So if I go in here and I say I want to add a play, and it's going to be another Singleback, and if take note of certain things as well. I'm going to show you what I want you to take a note of. And we'll just add a play. It really doesn't matter what it is. And I'll give it an audible. Now, this might not make too much of a difference, but we'll see it further on. The list here of audibles are in alphabetical order. They're not in the order that I put the plays in. As you can see, I just put in this dice slot play. So this was just put in, and yet it's showing up. Sorry about that. I keep forgetting that when I do this, when I have the remote on, it disconnects. But the dice slot is there. So we're going to go, we'll save this playbook. I'll save it as new, and we'll just say 1. Okay. And the reason why I have to go through so much detail is because this is going to EA, and I want them to see what the problem is, and I want them to understand it so that there's no confusion or anything like that. It'll be pretty straightforward. And they'll have plenty of resource to go by to fix it. Because again, it is easy. It's not anything complicated. If you go here, formation, there you go, bunch, wide trips, dice slot. Now let's say, oh man, I meant to put in bunch tight end. Okay, so I go back to my playbook, I quit here, say exit. I don't know why they don't fix that. Now I'm going to go to template 1. I'm going to add the play. Okay, let me say this. That way I don't have to come back and do this again, but you saw the dice came in last. So again, that's that first in, last out. So if I wanted to make sure that the bunch tight end was in before in that list of dice, I would have to go back into my playbook, go to the dice slot formation, and remove it. Then I would go into all plays, go back to Singleback, go back, pick the play I want in, and just choose a play out of here. Then, as you can see, there's the bunch tight end. So you can see that's in the playbook now. Bunch tight end. then I would go in and choose to restore my dice. So you can see this would be a real tedious task if once you have all of those sets completed. So if you have 52 sets in your playbook, imagine having to do this with about 10 or 13 plays in each set. Now there's a method to that madness, but I'm not going to go through that. Now we have added dice slot to it. If we go to our Audible screen, do you see bunch, bunch tied in, dice slot, wide trips? That is in alphabetical order. So that's the quote-unquote minor bug that I'm speaking about. Because when you go in here, it's easy to find your plays as far as being able to reset your audibles. But I gotta save this playbook. And I won't have to come back in here. All I have to do is just change it to my last demo for this part. So don't worry about that. All I'll have to do next for the next one is to change the playbook itself. From here, offense only, we're gonna go to 2 here. We go to formation, Singleback. Look at the formation. Bunch, wide trips, bunch tied in, dice slot. You're not going to tell me that's not convenient for a person who's organizing their playbook. And again, if you're one of those players who just hot route their way through games, it probably doesn't matter to you. Me, I don't believe in hot routes because just from my previous experience, it's just an exploit of the very poor or fake AI of the game. That's why you see all of those videos that say, oh, all you got to do is just send someone deep and then run a whip route underneath. Yeah, but you know, a real football AI would, or real football intelligence, let's just say that, would know all that stuff. Now, I won't have to go back to the playbook. All I have to do is just change this because I want to kind of close this part of it out with an actual playbook that kind of demonstrates a little bit more. It's going to demonstrate another issue that did not exist prior to Madden 25. Now in this playbook, I have added 2 shotgun plays. But again, if you look in here, that's what you have there. I don't have the, did I take, no, I didn't take a play out. I think I only added 2 shotgun doubles and bunch. Okay, so if I'm in a play like, let's say this bunch play, and I want to go to my doubles, not my doubles, my shotgun bunch, all I have to do is move over here and I'm there. That's it. Now, thankfully, let me point this out right here. EA did correct something in Madden 25. And I was so happy. I was like, oh man, that's great. But then they screwed up the order of plays. And that is very simple. They removed this. See, the Hailmary is a separate category. And you really don't see teams audibling to a Hailmary. Even though it has a similar personnel set, it should be set aside. it should not be a part of the Audible selection here. And they did that in Madden 25. So, heads up for them doing that. And I have no problem with that. But you can see how easy it is to go back and forth to plays. If I was in, let's say, this dice slot, and I wanted to go to doubles, there you go. Oh, this was actually I forgot I had a pistol formation. So this shows you, actually, this shows you that cycle, because I forgot there was a pistol formation left in here. So you can see this is by having to go that direction. I was at the edge of my Singleback. It sent me to my pistol. So that's the pistol formation I have. And there's a pistol bunch. Now I would have to go here. So that's where I would go. Do you see how that flowed? Singleback, pistol, shotguns. And then if you went from here, you would go back to your Singleback. Right there. So you end up back where you are. Now, did you notice how the name changes occurred as I'm doing audibles? If I choose this one, I bring up the audible. Now, of course, you can't choose something that's not there. That's not a problem. But you notice when I went to an audible for single wide trips, even though the only audible set is LB, the name Singleback wide trips is in the audible box. So I know what formation it is. If I go to bunch tight end, same thing. It's still there. It recognizes the formation. It changes with the formation. So keep that in mind when we go there, as well as the other item, which is the audibles in the audible list are in alphabetical order. And there's another possibility here, but I have to see. I have to go to the Playcall screen, audibles as well, to see something that's kind of interesting. So if I go audibles here, that's okay. X, Y, LB, RB. I'm curious. Yes, okay. Pay attention to audibles. X, Y, LB, RB. Okay? That's important. See it when I pop up that screen. And you see it when I pop up on this screen. Even though there's no RB there, that's what it is. Okay. So now let's get into Madden 26. Should be already started. Okay. Now, the offensive playbook we're going to use is test order. Okay. For some reason that did not show up, but anyway. Here are the plays that are in the playbook. Doubles Y off, bunch, doubles, double flex, Y trips. Now, I purposely didn't set any audibles here. I may have to go back to the other one to see this. I might have to go back to Madden 24 just to verify something. Because I did not, I don't think I've added that image in here. Anyway, X, Y, RB, LB. That's what I'm really trying to get a quick look at. So we're going to go in here. And we're going to look at one of the issues here. Now, I just showed you the order plays. They're not in Audible Screen. They were not in alphabetical order. Let's see. Order. Okay. Singleback, as you can see, doubles Y off bunch, doubles, Y flex, and Y trips. So what I want to do is I want to go back and I want to add bunch tight end. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go through the shuffle. Okay. I'm just going to add it in. So it should come in the end if it's a stack. This is what you get for audibles when nothing's set. I disagree with this. Yes, there are no audibles set, but the whole purpose of this is to be able to set the audibles on the fly. So you should be able to do that regardless of whether you have any audibles set. This to me makes no sense. As long as you have plays in a playbook, you should be able to set an audible. And there are plays in the playbook. So if a person makes their playbook and somehow they forgot about setting up the audibles, maybe they set up a new playbook and they hadn't set up the audibles, guess what? You're pretty much out of luck unless you go to the pause menu, and you would have to go through here to set your audibles. Now, we're going to come out of this just one time and go back to the playbook. And again, as you can see, all these key presses that you have to do just to get here. And that can be kind of tiring. I had to jump in and edit this because I noticed another issue. The LB and RB buttons swap positions. How do you release this with these bugs? Now, when the goal line offense normal is highlighted, the audibles on the right are listed in this order: X, Y, LB, RB. Watch when I move down the list to the Singleback formations that the order of the buttons will change to X, Y, RB, then LB. I'm guessing they have two functions doing the same thing, and that is why this is coming up with a different order. That is a no-no in software development, and you're witnessing it right here. This may have been the issue when they had that down marker not matching the scoreboard in maybe 19 or version 20 of Madden. Now, this book has order plays. But that's not really the one I want. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the bunch in here just to show it to you. I just want to double check that the other book is set up the way I want it to. I have it set up as demo. I just want to see if it is set up. Yeah, it is. Okay. So all I have to do, I won't have to come back to the screen after this. I'm going to Singleback. We go to bunch tight end, and we're just going to add a play. That's it. So we go back to Audibles, and we have bunch tight end. Again, not in alphabetical order. We're going to save this test order 1. And then I'll use the demo in the other place. Now, we'll say some of the screen loads appear to be a little bit faster, but I just still think you should have a button that gets you out of all of this back to the main menu. Okay. Go to formations, go to Singleback. You notice that bunch tight end is not last. So this shows me that this is somehow sorted by an ID, more than likely like a formation ID in a database, flat file, whatever you want to call it, however they store it. They need to change that because that's not what it was in Madden 24. So now I cannot order my playbooks, which means I have to remember when I'm in a doubles formation, if I want to go double flex, is it right or is it left? You see what I mean? I shouldn't have to do that. I would know automatically because my plays, my doubles would be all to the right, and the two wide receiver sets that on the strong side are going to be to my left. So that's your trips, your bunch, and all that stuff. So that's not good as far as the formation is concerned. And this is fixable. This should come out in the next patch. This is not something that should last through the full life cycle of Madden 26. It shouldn't last until October or anything like that. This should be a high priority. We're going to take a look at this part with a different playbook because I want to show you that other part. that I mentioned. It should be demo. Yeah. If you remember when I was doing the audibles in the last with Madden 24, I'll go to doubles. I'll just stick with this. Okay. We know that this is doubles Y off. Okay. If I choose a different play, like bunch, let me choose audible, it comes up, right? The problem is when I go away from it. Okay. Now, if I go to my right, it still says Singleback. But that's not my new formation name. That's the wrong play. The reason for this is unless the play, if I move to my left, unless that audible X is filled, the new name will not appear. So I don't know how this makes it out of test. Somebody is not either setting up the right test scripts for this game or something. I don't know what they're doing. Either they are and they're just ignoring the results, or someone is not providing the correct test scripts, because this should be tested. What if X is filled and the rest are not? What if Y is filled and the rest are not? What if LB is filled and the rest are not? What if RB is filled? And I know that sounds kind of tedious, but that's what testers do. I know because I've worked with plenty of them. And they're very, very thorough. And they catch things like this. Things that you as a developer don't realize. Oh man, what was I thinking of? How did I forget that? And you think you have everything down. Some people are so arrogant they think they can't make any mistakes, but obviously they do. So that's the problem you have. You go away from it, and for this one it changed, but that was it. It's not changing, and this one is full, so you have that. So that's a problem. Now the other thing is, if I go off of this one, I'm going to choose a play. I think that doesn't have one. I think it would have been doubles. Now doubles, again, it doesn't allow you to add any plays. So if I call doubles, which has all these plays in it, look what happens when I press X. You hear that sound? That's me pressing X. Nothing comes up. And you may say, oh, that's because you don't have any audibles set. But the audibles are not just set within the formations to change. You can change your formation. So as long as you have formations with audibles set, you should be able to change to it. This one doesn't. The others do, but I can't change to them. Now, this one, just as I just stated, would make sense. Let's say if I go to doubles flex and I choose a play. It doesn't matter which play. Okay? It comes up because there's an audible set. But look what happens when I go left. There is no doubles because doubles does not have any audibles. that's fine. It skips over. It says, hey, you don't have any Audible, so I'm going to move over to it. That's a little condition statement I'm sure that's sitting there in the code. And it makes sense. The problem is you don't check that to determine whether to pop up that Audible screen. You still pop up the Audible screen and you just disable reset play. You could still flip the play. Matter of fact, you could leave those two available in case you flip the play and you decide, oh no, I want to reset it. But you still would have the arrows next to your formation name, so you could move to the next formation and call the audibles in that formation. This is almost a no-brainer, people. You should be able to do this. So they need to fix this, and they need to fix it now. It's not something that needs to wait. This is like a fire alarm right now. They need to fix this. This is a gameplay issue. So, all the hype and marketing doesn't matter if the gameplay is screwed up. For me, this screws it up because with a full play set of plays, I can't play the game because I don't know where my plays are. It's too much of a matrix. You have 50 some plays that you gotta memorize where they are. You're looking around like crazy trying to figure out all of what's left, and that wastes time when you're playing somebody. So that's not good. So what I'm going to do is send this off to EA, and I'm hoping that you all too will do the same thing. Send it to them and ask them to fix it, because it should be fixed. I just want to check one thing in the Audible screen real quick, and then that'll be it. Do you see the X, Y, LB, and RB? So why is it that in this one it's set up to X, Y, RB, LB? So with that said, until next time, help me to get the word out. Please like, subscribe, and share to help grow the channel. And as always, no monetization is involved here.